All right, let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You get that big promotion, a nice raise, and you feel that incredible rush of success. But then, fast forward a few months, right? You peek at your bank account and it's like, wait, where did all that extra money even go? If you've ever felt like you're just running on this financial treadmill, earning more but not actually getting any richer, then yeah, you're in exactly the right place.
I mean, it's such a frustrating question, right? Your paycheck gets bigger, but your savings just flatline. You're climbing the ladder, working your tail off, but somehow you're still stuck in that same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. So what is really going on here? Well, I can tell you it's not bad luck. It's something else, like a hidden program running in the background of our minds. Okay, let's get into it.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle what I call the promotion paradox. Then we're going to expose the #1 absolute wealth killer, the lifestyle inflation trap. From there, we'll get into the psychology behind it all. Like, why does this keep happening? And don't worry, we're not just going to talk about the problem, we're going to shift to the solution. A super simple, powerful system called Pay Yourself First. And we'll end by looking at the incredible reward for doing this, something called the magic of compounding. Okay, let's kick things off with a scene that I'm sure is pretty familiar. Picture this. You get the email or the call. You got the promotion, right? More responsibility, sure, but a better title and that beautiful, beautiful bump in your salary. Man, it feels like you finally made it.
And that initial high, it's just incredible, isn't it? You celebrate, maybe you finally pull the trigger on that thing you've been eyeing. But a few months go by, the newness wears off, and this weird, familiar feeling starts to creep back in. Even with the bigger paycheck, things feel just as tight as they did before. Your net worth hasn't moved an inch. That right there, that's the promotion paradox. And it leads us directly into our next big idea.
So, the reason this whole paradox happens, well, it has a name. And honestly, just knowing what it's called is the first huge step towards breaking free. It's called the lifestyle inflation trap. And trust me, it is one of the sneakiest, most effective ways to completely derail your financial future.
So what is lifestyle inflation? Well, it's actually pretty simple. As your income goes up, so does your spending. It's almost automatic. All those things that used to be a treat, the fancier car, eating out all the time, all those premium subscriptions, they just sort of magically become necessities. And the end result is always the same. No matter how much more money you make, there's nothing left over to actually save or invest. Okay, to really see how this plays out, let's look at a perfect example. Let's talk about Sally. Sally's a great employee, works hard, and she just got a big, well-deserved raise. And this right here, this is where you can see the trap snap shut. Okay, look, before the raise, Sally makes 30 grand a year and, well, she spends 30 grand a year. So her savings rate? A big fat 0. Then, boom, she gets a fantastic $15,000 raise. But what happens? She starts telling herself, you know what? I deserve a nicer car, or I can finally afford a bigger apartment. Her budget for fancy dinners suddenly expands. And just look at the result. Her expenses creep up to perfectly match her new $45,000 income. I mean, she's making 50% more money, but her savings? Still exactly 0. And Sally's story is just so incredibly common. It makes you wonder, right? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why does our spending almost always inflate to meet whatever we're making? Look, this isn't about being bad with money or having a weak character. This is actually a built-in feature of our own human psychology.
Okay, so the first culprit has this fancy name, hedonic adaptation. But what it really means is that our brains are just amazing at getting used to things. I mean, think about it. That shiny new car is so exciting for the first few weeks, but then it's just your car, the one you drive to work. That bigger apartment that felt like a mansion? Yeah, after a little while, it just becomes your new normal.
And this is the cycle, isn't it? As soon as that novelty wears off, your internal happiness meter just resets back to its old setting. You're not actually any happier than you were before. So what does your brain do? It starts looking for the next upgrade, the next purchase, to get that little jolt of excitement again. It's a chase that literally never ends.
But wait, there's another piece to this puzzle. It's something even more primal, happening deep, deep inside our brain's reward system. I mean, let's be real. Why is it so much easier to buy that $5 coffee right now than it is to invest that same $5 for your retirement like 30 years from now?
Well, the answer really comes down to one little chemical, dopamine. And here's the crazy part. Your brain doesn't release dopamine when you get the reward. It releases it when you think about getting it.
So a new phone, a fancy dinner, these things promise an immediate payoff, and your brain just gets flooded with dopamine. But saving for the future? Man, that reward is so far away, it's so abstract, it barely makes the dopamine needle even twitch. We are literally, biologically, hardwired to prefer the instant hit of spending over the long, slow burn of saving. So, okay, we're fighting against our own psychology and our ancient brain wiring. That sounds like a pretty unfair fight, doesn't it? But here's the good news. The solution is actually super elegant and surprisingly simple. It's not about trying to fight your instincts with pure willpower. It's about outsmarting them with a much better system.
And here's the key takeaway. Forget about those painful, complicated budgets where you track every single penny and feel guilty about every latte. That's not what this is about. Real financial discipline isn't about restriction. It's about setting up an automatic process that does all the hard work for you. Let me say that again. You don't need more willpower. You just need a better system. I love this quote because it just gets right to the heart of it all. I mean, who cares if you make 6 figures if it all just evaporates? Real wealth, it's built in that space between what you earn and what you spend. And the system we're about to talk about, its whole job is to create that space for you, automatically.
And here it is, the Pay Yourself First system. And it's brilliant because it's so simple. Okay, step 1, you get paid. Step 2, and this is the most important part, before you pay your rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else, a percentage you've already decided on is automatically transferred to your investment and savings accounts. It's totally non-negotiable. Then step 3, you just live on whatever is left over. See how that completely flips the script? You're not fighting temptation anymore. You're making success the default setting.
So why is this one simple system so powerful? What's the massive reward for developing this discipline, for paying yourself first month after month, year after year? Well, you unlock something that Albert Einstein supposedly called the 8th wonder of the world. You unlock the magic of compounding.
All right, to really get a feel for this, let's play a little game. Imagine I offer you a choice. Option A, I give you 1 billion won in cash, right here, right now. Option B, I give you a single 10 won coin that will double in value every single day for the next 30 days. Which one do you take? I mean, every instinct in your body is probably screaming, take the billion, right? But that would be a huge, huge mistake. Because that one tiny, humble 10 won coin, after 30 days of doubling, would be worth over 5.3 billion won. That's the mind-bending, explosive power of compounding. The growth at the beginning is so slow you can barely see it, but then it just accelerates into this unstoppable force.
Okay, so that's a fun thought experiment, but let's see how this works in the real world. Let's talk about Bob. Now, Bob isn't doubling his money every day. He's doing something much more realistic, something any of us could do. He just uses the Pay Yourself First system to invest $10,000 every single year, no matter what. In this chart, this is where the magic really clicks. Look at this. For Bob to get his first $100,000, it was a grind, a heavy lift. You can see that about 75% of that money was his own savings, his own hard work. But now, fast forward to when his portfolio hits $1 million. Look what happened. The whole thing is completely flipped on its head. Now, a mind-blowing 75% of his wealth is from compound interest alone. It's just his money making more money. And that, my friends, is the whole point. To get to a place where your money is working way harder than you are.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. The real reason so many of us feel stuck on that financial treadmill, even when our paychecks are getting bigger, it's not because we don't earn enough, it's because we don't have a system. We fall into the lifestyle inflation trap, our own brains work against us, and we never let that incredible magic of compounding even get off the ground.
When you really think about it, every single paycheck represents a choice. You can pay your landlord first, you can pay the car company first, you can pay the credit card companies first, or you can make a difference choice. You can choose to pay the single most important person in your entire financial life first, your future self. That one choice, when you make it today and set it on autopilot forever, is what builds your future. So the only question left is, who are you paying first?